Hey, what's up, guys? So I want to go over this interview that Matt Lafleur had the other day on the Rich Eisen show. It's about probably I'll play 3 minutes of it. A clip where Rich Eisen talked with Matt Lafleur about a few different things, from Davante Adams being traded, and then also a little bit about Aaron Rodgers, sort of the relationship there, and sort of this Packers team, looking ahead to the 2022 season. So I want to play a little bit of this, and then I'll give my thoughts on what Matt Lafleur had to say. So we will start it right now.
Well, I mean, we were all surprised that Rodgers signs back and then Davante Adams goes. And I'm wondering, what about you? Were you surprised
I was definitely very surprised. Didn't see it coming.
about that sequence, Coach?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt. I definitely was a little bit surprised how that whole thing transpired. I was optimistic that we could work something out, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out that way, and so you got to adjust and you got to move on.
So was there any point in time, because again, every head coach that's highly successful like you is a control freak. I mean, did you try and make calls, control it best you can to avoid that result, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're always in communication with, your best players, and not only your best players, but guys that you truly respect, how they go about their work. And Davante's no different. Obviously, he's the best receiver in the game right now, in my opinion. And then I think he's a great person as well. And I love how he approaches the game and how he works. And he's a guy that I got a lot of respect for. So certainly we tried to do our best to, kind of remedy the situation, and it just didn't go that way.
How is your relationship?
So looking at that Davante Adams situation, I feel like most of us Packers fans were upset the second we heard the news that Davante Adams was going to get traded. I know I was upset just because when you have a player who's been here for so long that you grow to love, you love watching play, seeing him week after week just dominate as he has, and sort of where Davante's come from, struggling his first couple of years to becoming pretty much one of the best wide receivers in the game. It was sad to hear the news that he was gone, and I find it interesting too that Matt Lafleur was also shocked that this ended up happening. So it seems like Matt Lafleur thought that, maybe there was a chance that he can convince him to stay, that maybe the Packers could find a way to keep him here in Green Bay. Clearly that wasn't the case. It really just seems like Davante wanted to, go back to play with his old teammate in Derek Carr from college, getting closer to his family. I know he mentioned that as well. And, the Packers, there were reports whenever Davante Adams was traded that the Packers did offer him more money than Las Vegas. So it wasn't about the money. It just seemed like he was ready to go, sort of switch things up. And it is unfortunate that the Packers weren't able to get it done. Matt Lafleur clearly was, hoping the Packers would be able to get it done, because I think when you have a talent like Davante, you want to do your best to keep him around. So that was some interesting thoughts from Lafleur. So let's keep it going.
Relationship with Rodgers evolved from the start and now to where it is today. How can you walk me through that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I think it's just like anything. I think we know each other. I think there's a lot of trust and love and respect for one another. Not to say that we don't have our differences, just like anybody else. That certainly happens from time to time. But I think just the level that we communicate, we're always able to, be on the same page. And like I said, there's such a mutual respect for one another.
What would the a difference be? Like, what? And obviously it's resolvable, clearly. But just walk me through what a loggerhead moment with Rodgers would look like or sound like.
Well, it could be anything, right? It could be just in terms of how you're implementing a game plan, or there might be a certain play that I really want to run, but if he doesn't feel comfortable with it, why would I put him in that position? Mm-hmm. So he generally wins the arguments.
So there we have Rich Eisen and Matt Lafleur talking about Matt Lafleur's relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And I do find it interesting just in general, like looking at the media in general, it's so easy to take like one little excerpt you hear from something and sort of judge an entire relationship. But clearly with all these players, not just Aaron Rodgers and the Packers organization, but all these players from around the league, it's really hard to know what's really going on because we only hear little excerpts that get out. And so it's really hard, I think, to build a full idea or really know what's happening with any of these relationships. Of course, when a player comes out and says certain things, you can have a pretty good grasp about what's happening. But I feel like lots of times in the past, people like to get on Aaron Rodgers for different things. But at the end of the day, it seems like he has a great relationship with Matt Lafleur and now as well with Brian Gutekunst. They have that mutual respect, but they're willing to, say what they think to each other, which I feel like in any relationship is sort of important. You don't want, Aaron Rodgers just going along with things if he thinks he's a better idea. He is one of the best all-time quarterbacks. So I think it's smart that him and Matt Lafleur sort of play off of each other, the way that they do.
Yes, indeed. I hear you. But I guess, it seems like you're more attuned to each other than ever before. That's what it looks like when you're watching a game with you guys together.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think just, a lot of it is just in the preparation that we put in on a weekly basis, and, being in all the meetings with him. So we have great dialogue, great communication, and, you get a good sense for what he likes. And then, in game, just that communication and being able to adjust if we need to adjust.
All right, so that is the entire interview here. I think it was 16 minutes, but I just wanted to show a few minutes. I don't want to sit here for 30 minutes talking about what they had to say. But I do think it makes sense. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers, Matt Lafleur, they've been together for 3 seasons now, and so it makes sense that they've gotten better at communicating things with each other. And that really, has me excited for 2022. Of course, this year it's a little different without Davante Adams there. There's some new pieces in there, so it's going to take some time, I think, for everything to sort of mesh perfectly. So if the season starts and we start off on a rocky note, which I don't think is going to happen, I feel like we'll overcome that, and maybe that is my bias as a Packers fan. But even if that were to happen, I think it could take time for this team to, mesh together and get going, which I do think they'll get to a point where they are, one of the best teams in the NFL. So I'm pumped for this season. I always love seeing what's going around with Packers at all times. And I enjoy you guys, come and watch these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to my second channel, I'm starting to put out a few videos on there a week, sort of discussing the rest of the NFL. So if you're into these videos, the Packers, you want to see the rest of the NFL, feel free to click down below. I'll leave it there so you can subscribe if you want to click the link in the description. But that is all for this video. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you guys next time.